Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bella and today we are going to be going through all of the books that I read in February. So of course I come here with some stats. I love some stats, so here we go. So in the month of February I managed to read 6 books with a total of 2014 pages. My average rating was 3.58 stars, which I feel like is not the best, but we will get into that. And I will talk about my favorite book of the month at the end of the video as well. So let's go through all the 6 books that I read. February was a pretty good month for me. I usually average around 4-ish books a month, but I've been getting my reading has become a lot better with this channel. I feel like it's really motivating me to read. I'm getting really excited about videos and doing different stuff. So I am getting through my TBR in a way, and I also have started my read it or unhaul it challenge, which is getting me through my TBR. So you will see some of these books from that video as well. If you haven't already, go check that out. I've also been reading my wrapped books, which are books that have been on my TBR for the longest time, which has been really, really good. The first book that I read in the month of February was none other than Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. This is a literary historical fiction, if you will, about Shakespeare's family. So this goes into depth about his wife and his children, but they never actually mention Shakespeare by name because this book is actually not about him for once. It is about his family and the legacy that he left them. And so basically delves into the world of this family. You don't really see much of Shakespeare himself, but basically they have 3 children, 2 of them are twins, and this is kind of like during, not the Black Plague, but it's during a lot of sickness, and obviously if you get sick in those kind of times, you die. So we follow his wife, Agnes, I think is her name. Yes, and they have 1 little boy and 2 girls. And the little boy actually passes away from this sickness. And none other, 4 years later, Shakespeare comes out with Hamlet. So basically this follows, it is a very character-driven story, I would say. There's not a lot of plot other than there's kind of back and forths from when Shakespeare first met his wife, Agnes, and them falling in love and everything, and him becoming what he became, and then you cut back to the family and how they are coping with this loss. And I think it is very beautiful. This book is beautifully written. The prose is magnificent. Maggie O'Farrell's writing is just insane. The way she is able to describe such things and in such a beautiful way, it had me hooked. The writing really did have me hooked. I will say though, I wasn't super invested is the right word. The characters kind of just didn't really leave a place for me. I wasn't crazy interested in them. I mean, I was kind of interested in the story, but it wasn't overwhelming for me. I really liked the flashbacks of Agnes and Shakespeare, and I thought that was really interesting, but I just didn't really care too much about the characters. But I mean, look at this cover, it's absolutely beautiful. Anyways, I also did really like the story of Hamnet and how it was actually his twin sister who actually got sick first, and so everyone was preparing for her to pass away, and it turns out it was him, and it was actually really sad. The ending really got me, not gonna lie, but I did have fun with this. I wasn't crazy invested, but I still enjoyed my time. But I ended up giving this one a 3.5 stars just for the writing. It was so good. I definitely think it's worth a read. It is really beautiful historical fiction. I mean, if you're not into that kind of thing, then don't worry about it, but I think it was a really good time, and it actually has won a bunch of prizes as well. It's won the Women's Prize of Fiction in 2020. Beautiful book, just wasn't my absolute fave. The next book that I read in February was Gild by Raven Kennedy. This was actually chosen by my bestie Em. I had so much fun with this. I ended up rating this a 4 stars. You follow our main character Oren, and she is literally made of gold. Even the strands of her hair are all gold. So this girl is stuck in this cage. There's a King Midas, I think is how you say it. I'm so bad at that. But he basically not owns her, but has her in this cage to protect her. But she is literally not allowed out of this cage. She is called the golden pet and the king's pet and stuff because he does have pleasure slaves, kind of. It starts off with a bang. I'm just just warning you guys. So this book is a little bit spicy, like from the beginning, and then it kind of like slows down. But basically we follow our character Oren, and she is just like, she's kind of like, hey, I've been stuck in this cage for a while, like can I be let out? And then he ends up going into war and things happen. I won't get more into it than that. I think it is really, really fun to go into completely blind. I really had a lot of fun with this. I'm really interested in where the series is going to head off, because I feel like the first book was very starter off, like just kind of like prequel vibes, but I'm really excited to where it goes next. I had a lot of fun with this book, and yeah. The next little book that I had is a little novella kind of thing from Abby Jimenez. That is The Situationship. This is on Kindle Unlimited. I had a lot of fun with this. This basically follows the story of Maddie and, oh my god, what was his name? So this follows Maddie and Doug, and they are two characters from the Part of Your World series, which is Abby Jimenez like little mini contemporary romance series. And it's like the little novella. It's literally like, I think it was like 70 pages. No, it was like 40 pages. It was like literally nothing. It was like a cute little novella, not even a novella, I don't even know what to call that, but this is really cute. I really liked it. I mean, it's a novella, so I only rated it 3 stars. Like there's not much to really talk to. It's like literally 40 pages. There's not much. This literally took me like 10 minutes to read on my Kindle. It was so quick. Really fun. I love the characters. I just like, they really leave a spot in your heart. I really love Abby Jimenez. I think she creates beautiful characters, and this was just a little bit of fun for like middle of the month territory. The next book that I read was Reckless by Elsie Silver. I rated this book a 4.25 stars. I loved this one. This one is very much, I'm really tossing up between which one is my favorite between Heartless and Reckless. I had so much fun. Basically this follows Winter and Theo, and you do have to start off with like Flawless to like kind of like know the characters, but they were perfect together. I was genuinely in shock of like how much they work together and how much I loved them. Like they were really beautiful. I really loved their chemistry, their romance. This is an accidental pregnancy book, and usually I don't like those kind of books, but this really surprised me. Elsie Silver, I feel like honestly it just gets better as you keep going, but I had so much fun with this. Like their energy, and just like, because Winter is very like a closed off person. She does not let people in very easily, and Theo just does not take no for an answer. He is like, I want to be there for you and like our child, and I'm gonna make it happen. And it is just so beautiful to see. We love Theo Silver, the man of my dreams. If you're my boyfriend and you're watching this, just ignore everything I just said. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this. I think this might be up there for my favorite Elsie Silver book, but we'll see as we go. The next one that I read is Part of Your World. I know that I actually read The Situationship literally before I read Part of Your World, but I really wanted to read this book and kind of finish off the little series that she had, and I rated this book a 4 stars. I thought it was really cute. You can definitely tell her writing does get better, because this wasn't my favorite. I rated Yours Truly 5 stars and Just for the Summer 5 stars, and I'm just an Abby Jimenez stan. Anything she writes I will read. Get me her shopping list, I will read that. I don't even care. But this book was really beautiful. Basically you follow Alexis and Daniel, and he basically lives in like a little town, Wakan. I think that's how you say it, Wakan. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but he lives in this little town. She accidentally gets stuck in a ditch and he helps her out. They have a one-night stand, and it just goes from there. They don't have each other's numbers. They don't even know each other's, he doesn't know her name, and it's just incredible. But basically she is also a doctor in the ER. She's like an ER doctor, and she lives in like the city. She has a obligation to stay there because her family are kind of like renowned for having part in this particular hospital, so she is really like, her part is being played, and so it's really hard for them. Obviously him living 3 hours away and her being in the city, how are they going to make that work? You will find out. I had so much fun with this. They are really beautiful. Really talks about some really deep struggles as well, so definitely check trigger warnings before you read kind of any book. I feel like, I mean, it's kind of only in passing. I feel like her books do get deeper the more she goes on, which I love how she just like does that, you know what I mean? Like it really adds character to the characters. But yeah, anyways, I had a lot of fun with that one as well. And then lastly for the month, I read Set on You by Amy Lee. Let's talk about this book. Not that, I mean, I talked a load about it in my Read It or Unhaul It, but this book I rated a 3 stars. It was very average for me. I mean, looking back at it, I would even bump it down to like a 2.75. Like, the characters were just so, they were just, dare I say, boring. Like, they didn't really stand out. We had our main character, Crystal, and she was a plus size fitness influencer, and her whole thing was obviously making people feel comfortable in the fitness community, no matter your size, which I loved that message. I thought it was a really, really beautiful message, and I think 100% agree. I just didn't find that she had much personality outside of that. Do you know what I mean? Like, there wasn't much to her other than the fact that she was a plus size fitness influencer. And that kind of like made me sad, because you could do so much with a character like that. You could really just build her up, and this could have been such a beautiful character study and really big character development, but you just didn't see much of that. And then we had our main male character. Oh my god, what was even his name? I honestly don't even remember. I don't remember. But he was a firefighter. You didn't really see much of that. Like, it was just kind of like, oh yeah, he was a firefighter. And then they didn't really delve into it. It was kind of boring. There was like a whole thing where like they were gym rivals, which I just hate that. It's like, obviously you're just throwing a trope in there just to get, you know what I mean? Just to have, oh my god, this is enemies to lovers. It's, I mean, in the real world, is it really enemies to lovers? Anyway, so he stole one of her gym equipment, and then they had this rivalry, and like she was stealing his phone and he was stealing her phone. It was just like, it was, dare I say, pathetic. Like, it was just too much for me. I'm like, literally, I was listening to this on audiobook, and I'm literally sitting there rolling my eyes. I'm just like, this is too much for me. But anyway, she called him the squat rack thief guy because he stole her squat rack, and like, he's her enemy and stuff, which was just too much for me personally. But yeah, it was okay. Like, it had some really good messages, which is why I bumped up my rating, is because I really liked some of the thoughts and opinions that Amy Lee kind of put into this book, which I really respected and I agreed with, which is why I did bump it up. But the characters were just nothing to me. The romance was mid. Like, it was okay. I didn't see like a super amount of chemistry, and the characters just weren't really delved into. Like, they didn't really have much personality, so it wasn't my absolute favorite. I was kind of bored, dare I say. Like, the thing is, like, I was listening to this on audiobook. I wasn't itching to pick it up. Like, if I was in the car, I'd just be like, oh, I'll just put it on just to like try and get through it some more. In that way, it was kind of just like, you can tell that's when you're really just like meh about a book. But yeah, that was kind of my little thoughts for this book. I mean, I respect anyone's opinions. If you loved this book, or if you loved any of the books that I have talked about, then 100% I will back you up on that. But these are just my opinions. I hope no one gets offended. Yeah, that was kind of what I thought about Set on You. And yeah, that's kind of like all of the books that I read. My favorite, of course, Reckless by Elsie Silver. So much fun with this book. I thought it was just beautiful. The characters, I love them so much. But yeah, that is kind of my little wrap up for February. I'm hoping that March is a little bit better. We get through a few more books. I won't spoil anything, but I have been reading a lot more than I have the past 2 months, which I'm loving. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much for 450 subscribers. It genuinely means the world to me that you guys are here, and I love you all. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!